Hi guys, Jean here. I am in my outdoor office again today, and it is ridiculously beautiful out here. I don't even know how to begin to show you how beautiful it is out here. So I'm just going to turn the camera so you can take a view of, yeah, that is my view at this point. And let's see. We can turn you around this way so you can get this nice open view. And the sun is shining, and you see that path there. I took a new path this morning, and it is just gorgeous. And look, the river is right here. So I hope you guys can actually see that and enjoy that spot. Um, yeah, it is just pretty outside today. Anyways, I'm out here in this YouTube street, and yeah, I decided to take a different path and find a different tree. You know, I am so enjoying this little outdoor janta. It is beautiful, and I love it, and I hope you love it. This is Kenmore, Alberta, and this is just being on one of those many parts for walking and biking and walking your dog and jogging and any of the outdoor things that you might be very comfortable with or you might love to do. You can find it in this town. I know that I'm shouting because I don't have my mic, and I'm hoping that the sound is not too far away. I'm gonna have to test the sound when I get home because I'm hoping that it's not too far away. And being outside is always like that. So it's Saturday morning, and I decided to take a walk and do a video one time because it is just gorgeous here. It's a little cloudy today, but I guess you don't care about that. So, my topic for today is security is not the same as safety. You know, there's a big difference in security and safety. And I had to think about that for a while. What does that mean? You know, like when you're thinking about security and safety with your health and your finance, with your happiness, with the area you live in, all the things. And what came up for me when I was thinking about, what is the difference? Why is it not the same? I even asked a friend of mine a few days ago, like, what is the difference? And I think we look up the definition. Safety is more on awareness of your physical being, and security is mostly, I guess, both have a sense of feeling to it, but they're still different. So I'll tell you a story about my divorce. So when I got divorced, before I got divorced, I was living in this beautiful, they call it $1 million view condominium. And me and my husband, my ex-husband, we had this really nice home. When you come into my home, it was like you come into this tropical breeze environment, right? But when I got divorced, um when I left, because I left the marriage, but it doesn't really matter who left the marriage. You go through the same healing process. You feel the same way. It really doesn't matter. I know sometimes women, feel like if the man has left, they no, I was as traumatized as my husband when that happened. So just so I'm clearing that up. So anyways, when I left, I think I told my ex at the time that I was going to, I think I told him on the Sunday that I'm leaving, and I move out by the Wednesday. So it was about a 2, 3 days in between the time I say I gotta go and in the time that I left. And that is part of who I am. When I make up my mind that something is done, usually I just it's time to move on. It's time to just, fall free into it. Now, here is where security came up a lot because when I left, I had no place to go. As a matter of fact, I left my beautiful $1 million condo and decided I'm going to go and stay at the Y. There's, people on the trail. I'm going to go stay at the Y. However, I was speaking to a friend, I think about a day before I left, and she said, "Oh, no, 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 you cannot do that." So she actually helped me to find this other friend of hers that was going through a divorce at the same time, and she had kept her house. So yeah, there's different people. I didn't get to keep my condo. My husband get to keep the condo because, you know, from the bank standpoint, I wasn't making enough money to carry the mortgage, and I just didn't want to prolong the whole thing. So I end up leaving. Now, there is where security came in, because what I left was my secure home. I left a home that I loved. I put a lot of energy and time and money and passion into that place. And I left that place to free fall. And I stayed with my divorced friend at the time. I stayed at her place for a month, and it was a big house, so we had a lot of space, you know, to be. We had space for ourselves. I had my own space, she had her own space. Within a month I had to leave because she only take me in for a month. I ended up going to stay with a friend, another friend, for 2 weeks. That friend was going away and she wanted me to look after her apartment for her, so I stayed in her place for 2 weeks. And then after that, another friend of mine was traveling, and I went to look after her son, Gecko, the one that looked like the lizard. Anyways, I was looking after a reptile, which was not fun. And I remember being in my friend house where I was looking after that gecko, and I was thinking, oh my Lord, um, this kind of divorce thing is like a roller coaster. Like it really, it's like you're free falling and there is nothing to hold you. And that's what, that's what lack of security feel like. You're free falling with nothing to hold you. I came from living in this, beautiful condo, which I had lived in for about what? More than 15 years. My home, my sanctuary. I left that for nothing, for nothingness, to stay at friend's house, to find my footing. And so within that, that's where so my home with the huzzy and living that kind of lifestyle was a lot more secure than feeling like I'm free falling throughout the space that I had. And ultimately, I think I stayed at that divorced friend. I stayed at my first friend that went for 2 weeks. And then I stayed at my second friend that basically was, went on a holiday, and I had to look at after their Geico, her son, reptile. I had to look after that. And then I stayed and then when I left that friend house, I went to another friend house. And that friend was like my family. And I stayed with her for the longest time. She had kids, and I wanted to feel love. I wanted to feel stable. So I went and stayed at her place to feel secure within myself. Obviously, I wasn't feeling that way. As I said, I felt like I was on a roller coaster. So for me, when I think about being in the marriage and owning the home and having a second income, all of that felt very, very, very secure to me. Obviously, after I stayed at my last friend, I ended up getting myself my a place, my own space to stay in, but that still didn't feel secure because I didn't have a second income. I just had one income, and the house that I had moved into was over $3,000 a month. So I had to get people to come in to rent, to share the place. So even that wasn't really feeling secure, right? So when you think about security, security is when everything is taken care of, and you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about where you put in your head at night. You don't have to worry about food. You're not worrying about money. You're not worrying about who is going to fix the car, because you have a spouse. You have someone who can help you do all of that. Now, I'm not saying that you cannot be secure on your own, because right now technically I'm on my own. I am married, but my husband is living in another country, and we haven't really started our life together yet. That's my second husband. So, but I have been living on my own for many, many, many years since I divorced, and I think I'm going on what yeah, I'm going on about 12 years now since I've divorced my first divorce, and I've been living on my own since then. So I have formed and create my own security. So sometimes people say, I have a secure job, right? Or they feel secure in their work or in their job or what they're doing. Now on the other hand, safety is very different. Now, I'm going to tell a second story about living in that same $1 million condo and what happened to us when we just moved in. Now, me and my spouse, we were a mixed couple. I am black and he is white. And when we just bought our condo and we were moving in, the neighbor downstairs, well, they were white neighbors. They had young children. And when I say young children, children in their older teens, I think the neighbor downstairs had maybe a 20-year old or an 18-year old. I don't know. I can't remember exactly how old they were. But when we move in to our new condo at the time, we were bringing all our stuff up. And when you come into the where the condominium is, we were on the third level. And every level have an extra balcony because we were on the third level. When you come up to our downstairs front entrance, we had an entire balcony. And because when we move in, we were doing so much, we were doing work inside of the house. So we were doing some construction work, putting in some new flooring, taking out the kitchen, and we were living in the space at the same time. So we brought a lot of our stuff, almost all our household items and all our stuff. We had it on that secondary balcony. Now, this balcony is very private. For you to come up into this balcony, you literally have to walk up the stairs right to our front door. And that condo had two, it was a upstairs downstairs, and there was two entrance. So we had a downstairs entrance and we had an upstairs entrance, but we used the downstairs entrance a lot more because it was more convenient. It was very close to the road where you have to park the car, and the garage area. And we had all our stuff in that on that balcony, right on the, as I say, you have to actually walk up the stairs, come up to our front door, and kind of go on the side because there was, this whole balcony there with all our stuff. And one night, around, I don't know, it must have been about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. There's a lot of traffic on here on this road. Lots of people walking here. So I'm really glad that I actually take the opportunity to sit in this. It's like a private spot, but if you're looking properly, you can see people passing. Anyways, one night, I guess it was early morning, it was around 2 a.m., just after the night party. This happened in Banff, Alberta, because that's where I was living at the time. I was living in Banff. Our condo was in Banff, and we just had a beautiful space. And someone pulled they come up, they pull the alarm system for our home. And when the alarm system start going off at 2 a.m. in the morning, obviously we ran out the house and came out. And what we saw was that, um, and I cannot 100% say, I'm going to say allegedly is the word people use, because I cannot 100% say that it was the young man downstairs, him and his friend that come from a party at 2 a.m. But honestly, I would never not believe that. I've always believed that it was our neighbor that did that. Nobody else would come up into this private area. The way the condo was, the whole area was actually gated and fence around. You have to actually come through a fence and come through that door and come up, and it was a private place. Somebody in there have to know what's going on. Anyways, we came out of the downstairs door, and when we come to the front door, um none our stuff was no longer there. Our stuff was, they take it all off the balcony, And I'm talking our suitcase, our couch, our tables, chairs, all the things that we have to put into our house. And someone took it off our balcony and scatter it along the path outside of the condominium, along the stairs that comes up to the condominium. So basically what they did, they vandalize us. They vandalize our home. They vandalize our stuff. They throw it all over the place. And now that is a lack of safety. That is what you feel. That's what um, safety, the difference in safety and security. That's what it feels like to be unsafe, you know, because you are vandalized. And although they vandalize our possession and our things, because it was our possession and our things, we felt like we were the ones that were, like it, you feel it in your own being. You feel the insecurity of it. You feel unsafe. So there is a big difference between safety and feeling and being vandalized, being vandalized. So that's the huge difference. We were so, I think we may have, for the first maybe 6 months, we felt unsafe in our own home because someone, the type of person that can come and just vandalize your stuff for no reason, it was very hard for us to comprehend that. It was just very hard to comprehend that, we can feel so fragile and unsafe in our own property. So when you're thinking about safety is not the same as security, or security is not the same as safety, that's how I am able to explain and express. So, um, safety and security can go hands in hand when the foundation underneath you is strong and very strong and balanced. That is, you can probably feel both at the same time. But we had security, having our own home, having our own key, our own mortgage, all of that. That felt like security to me. I feel like I didn't have to worry. I'm sorry that I'm turning around here and there. There is so much traffic. It's almost but that is something that I have to get used to as well. And in a way, I'm kind of looking out for my safety as well to see who is passing behind me. It's okay for me to do that. But the truth is, um, security is knowing. It's security is a knowing. It's a knowing. You have it. You have the extra income. You don't have to worry. You have the food to eat. You have all of that. So to me, security is a knowing, and safety is a feeling, right? So security, and safety is a feeling because you feel unsafe, but you know that you're secure. So I'm going to leave you guys with this today because, of course, I'm in a different area and I feel like I'm being distracted by turning left and turning right. I hope you got something out of that. So just to wrap it up, security is really a knowing, and safety is is the feeling. So I know that I'm secure. I have a home. I have a bed to sleep in. I have to eat. I don't have to worry about money. I don't have to do any of that. But I feel unsafe in the sense that I am walking on ice when I come outside, and I have to really pay attention that I don't fall and break one of my hips. And throughout this whole process here, I've been getting texts here and there. So I hope that hasn't been distracted as well. Anyways, subscribe to my channel, guys. Subscribe. You're going to get some good content. I have been giving good content. So subscribe to my channel, like my channel, share, or encourage someone else to see it. But mainly, do less and be more, and show up. Show up in all your messiness, because that's how I'm showing up. Thank you. Talk to you soon.